We are Movie Menu Reviews, your creepy stalker podcast. We know when you're listening to us.
Here we go.
On today's menu, we'll be reviewing Greta. Welcome, ladies and gents. I'm Dan the Man Muñoz, host of Movie Menu Reviews, your weekly movie news and reviews podcast. Live on Facebook.
Yeah, we are.
Yes, we're live. If you're watching us on Facebook, thank you so much. Or if you're listening to us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or wherever you listen to your podcast, thank you. We appreciate it. Mm-hmm. Joining us today, who wasn't here last week, but is here today, even though he was not invited back, is our co-host and senior panelist, Zane.
Thank you for having me back.
Also joining us today is a guy who we don't know why he's here, but he shows up every single time.
I got no choice.
Is our co-host Mike Say?
Hey, welcome, Mike.
Thank you guys for being here today.
Yeah.
Even though you really didn't have a choice.
Yeah, and we should probably say happy belated birthday to our dear old friend.
Yes.
Our special correspondent, Rigo Espinosa.
Rigo,
yeah.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Rigo.
And how about you guys out there? Go ahead and go wish him a happy birthday.
There you go.
Or if you want to just, talk trash to him.
Or slap him in the face. Yeah, if you see him, slap him. That's the general rule.
I think so, yeah.
Right?
That's the only rule.
That's the only rule. Okay.
On that note, we'll go ahead and talk about some movie news this week. So we're going to discuss some trailers that came out.
Yes.
First up, let's go ahead and talk about Detective Pikachu. Also released this week was Ryan Reynolds' Outside the Actor Studio.
Right.
Outside the Box Actor Studio. That video that he did with Blake Lively. We're trying to get into character of Pikachu. So what did you guys think about Detective Pikachu, the second trailer, and the marketing that is behind Detective Pikachu with Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah, so my biggest issue is the fact that it's Ryan Reynolds doing more spoofs. And yeah, he's not in the Deadpool costume, but it's really hard to separate him from that. I'm glad they involved Blake Lively, his wife. But at the same time, I'm much more concerned about over how the movie is going to play if I'm watching it thinking about Deadpool, thinking about Ryan Reynolds. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a weird... I need to disconnect the character, and I think one of the best jokes in the not behind the studios, what is it, inside the studio? Outside the studio is Blake Lively just mentioning that he never changed his own voice. And you're right, it sounds just like Ryan Reynolds. So that's my biggest concern.
And there is a concern, but I feel like not being Deadpool and Pikachu, I think seeing him as Pikachu, I think we will go ahead and get over the fact that it's not also Deadpool.
Yeah.
The same voice, yes, it might be distracting, but I think in the world of Pokemon, when we see the humans talk to Pikachu, he goes in the high-pitched voice.
He does go the Pika. Yeah, he does.
So I'm hoping that it won't be too distracting.
Yeah, I think it'll be super fun. It's like, because if it wouldn't have been Ryan Reynolds, I don't know if this movie will be as successful as it will be.
That is true. You definitely need a big star for that character. But I feel like...
Do you, though?
Yeah, I think you do. Yeah. But I think for me, what I'm looking most
I think the Pokemon brand itself is kind of a big its own.
Well, and that's all I was going to say. I think the thing that I'm really looking forward to the most is watching the Pokemon. Like, I feel like that's going to be the fun part because... you see Blastoise facing off with I forget which one. It's one of the ghost Pokemon, and like you see Lickitung, you see Mewtwo. Like, it looks ridiculous and fun, and I want to watch it for the Pokemon. Less so for the story, if that makes any sense, because I like Pokemon, and I feel like I want to watch it. I mean,
Detective Pikachu, the game, it was a Game Boy game, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And it was okay. It was a little boring.
Yeah.
But
they're going to do the same thing.
Well, yeah. So the story is not the draw for this film. It's the Pokemon.
It's the Pokemon.
Seeing the Pokemon,
I think that's the big
big draw.
Yeah.
So, No, I think it's. I think with Ryan Reynolds being attached to it, I think there's going to be like a huge unexpected comedic element to this that I think is going to make it more successful than it already would be.
In the trailer, it's starting to show a lot of humor in there.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it as well for that reason.
I'm looking at the cast list, and I'm just hoping that Bill Nye plays Professor Oak. That's where I'm just kind of like, I'm just hoping that Bill Nighy does Professor Oak as campy as possible,
and making sure not the science guy,
not the science. No, yes, Bill Nighy, not Bill Nye. There's a difference.
I made that mistake first time.
But
around.
if Bill,
I did too.
But you know what? If Bill Nye comes out as Professor Oak, I'm okay with that too.
Yeah,
like that, the science guy doing the Pokemon guy, like that sounds fun.
That actually would be perfect.
It would be fun. It will be fun either way. So.
I agree. Yeah.
So also came out this week is a trailer for a Red Band trailer for Hellboy, which is the reboot. What do you guys think about the Red Band trailer for Hellboy?
I'm looking forward to Hellboy, and I didn't. That was my first time seeing the Red Band trailer, and just seeing that the gore that's in Hellboy, I didn't know it was gonna be as gory as it is.
Yeah, so much CGI gore.
Yeah, yeah, and like the giant like.
Wait, did I hear sass behind that?
Oh yeah, there was sass behind that. Totally.
Yeah. I know Z. Yeah.
Sass.
Oh, I'm sorry, but Guillermo del Toro made practical effects, and that's what made Hellboy the original so much fun, that it all looked genuinely real. This looks heavily CGI'd.
It does.
That's my big issue. Now, does that mean I'm going to not watch it? No, I definitely want to look forward to watching it. David Harbour looks fantastic as Hellboy.
Who was the sheriff in
Stranger Things. Yeah, he's been in a ton of things. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to seeing him, and Daniel Day Kim, who I absolutely love from Lost, playing Ben Damio, who's like aware cheetah. Oh. What in the hell? So there's some like really interesting things that I want to watch this movie.
Mila Jovovich.
Well, yeah, Mila Jovovich, who's playing an immortal witch. Which is unusual because Mila Jovovich is immortal on her own. So like she has not aged at all. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's true.
Yeah.
So they give more plot details in this film. There's and gore, as like Mike said.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to it then?
I'm skeptical, but I'm willing to take the ride. I feel like Deadpool, we were just talking about Ryan Reynolds. Deadpool opened up the venue for rated R, like hard R gore films with humor, and this movie clearly has that behind it.
Yeah, totally.
So I'm looking forward to it because, hey, listen, another Deadpool replicate sounds fun, but am I excited about it? Not really. I'm not really excited about it.
I'm kind of excited about it. I'm looking forward to checking it out. Yes, it's not Guillermo del Toro's, and we wanted part 3 from that. But
yeah,
I like David Harbour, and I don't know. I think the Red Band trailer made it look pretty cool.
Yeah, Ian McShane is going to be in it. He's playing.
I love Ian McShane. He's
Home. Yeah, and so that's an interesting departure from the last actor who played that. But it's still, like I said, I'm still kind of looking forward to it, but I'm not super excited.
Yeah, I like how the CGI demons look that come out of the ground. It reminds me of like the demons in like Silent Hill or something.
Yeah,
Pyramid Man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, Pyramid Head for sure.
Pyramid Head. Yeah. So let's move on to the next trailer that we want to talk about. Is X-Men Dark Phoenix.
So the very interesting part about this trailer is that the first one was released, I believe, Wednesday night, like around 11:30.
Oh, right.
Because one of the actors, Jessica Chastain, was being interviewed, I think Jimmy Kimmel, and they premiered the trailer. So it was really weird that it get dropped that late usually.
I believe it was. Yeah,
usually trailers get released on whenever, but usually in the morning. And so getting this trailer, the second trailer, at that time was unusual, and I was excited to watch it. But then they released another trailer on Friday, which is again very unusual because clearly Fox is kind of going like, the house is burning down, the house is burning down, let's just throw everything out. Yeah. There have been reviews that came out for this movie, and so the reviews are very negative. So I think that they're trying to get ahead of the bad reviews. So what do you guys think of the trailer? It's kind of they give away a huge plot point.
They do, but I mean, it's not like it's a big surprise for me, at least.
So which huge plot point did it give out in the trailer? I mean, it's already spoilered because it's in the trailer.
Well,
if you've seen the trailer, and if you haven't seen the trailer, then be warned that this will be spoiled.
Yes.
But apparently, it seems like Jean Grey kills Mystique, which is Jennifer Lawrence's character, which actually
has been talked about for years because she wanted out of the contract.
Well, Simon Kinberg, who is the director of it, confirmed that on Twitter.
He also confirmed that. Yeah.
And Jennifer Lawrence, I'm currently imagining that she wanted out of her contract, And she's like, kill me. That's why I can get out of it.
But kill me the right way.
Yeah.
It's very...
This is a story that I don't understand why they are so obsessed with.
The Dark Phoenix saga?
Yeah.
I agree. They tried it once with X-Men 3.
Which
Last
Simon
Stand.
Kinberg wrote. And now he's the director of this one.
And mind you, he apologized for how awful it was.
He did apologize.
So the fact that he's going back once more... Now, what I am imagining is happening is that he's trying to do it right this time. But it looks quite literally like the same story. Like now, the third trailer gives you a little bit more. It gives you more of an additional facts as to like where the Phoenix Force comes from. So they're introducing space, which is awesome. But like,
and they introduced cosmic energy.
Yeah, but it still appears to be the same mix, the same beats.
Which I don't understand in a sense, because in Apocalypse she already had the Phoenix power.
She had untapped it after Professor X opened it for her,
right? Because
he had blocked it. And in this trailer, you do see like a huge portion of like, again, Professor Xavier. He's a fun character on his own. In the X-Men comic books, it's amazing because he plays this this. Very like knowing person, but he's a dick in real life, or in the comics, and so they're playing into that, which is great. However, we've done this before. Why are we doing this again? That's my big issue. Is like we've already gone down this road of knowing that Professor Xavier fucked up. He's the one who gave the Phoenix the reason as to come at them, but it's I don't know. Mike, you're not a comic book fan, or
I haven't. I was more of like the X-Men the animated series kind of guy.
But they did it in that actually Kinberg I think is basing it off of the animated series. Not the comic books.
No, not the comic books.
Which is too bad.
Which is what Bryan Singer wanted to do originally with X2.
Yeah, right.
If he would have done X3, he would have wanted to have done it similar to. But anyways,
yes, yeah, but I mean, there's obviously there's way more content in the original comics as well that they could always pull from. So it is kind of weird. It's kind of like the same bad habit of them like trying to repeat, not Fox, or just when they were trying to repeat the Spider-Man story. I'm sorry. So it's kind of like just that same repeat. It's like, or just like the constant reboots for like Fantastic Four. Yeah. It's like if something's not working, like why try it again?
Why try it again? Why try it again in like, the same way? Like
exactly.
You can like, and right. My big issue about Fantastic Four is that they should have done a Doctor Doom movie first, take it from the perspective of the villain, and then you buy in a little bit more. One of the things that I like about Legion, the TV show, which by the way, Legion has a direct connection to this movie. Is that they center the story around a guy who you assume is the hero of the story, but you later find out, and obviously if you're a comic book fan, you knew all along, is that he's the villain. But this one, like, it's like they're just doing the same thing over and over again. Like they could have easily told a villain story. Hell, involved a Hellfire Club. Like that's something that really hasn't really been.
Well, they did. In the
I know they did.
X-Men First Class, but it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't.
But or bring in the Shi'ar, like anything that like as far as like a nerd.
Well, that was the rumor that they were going to bring in the Shi'ar,
but they're not.
But they're not. Now Jessica Chastain's character, people were saying that she's Lilandra, but
no,
she came out and said she's not. Now while we were watching it, you had a theory of you think she is.
I'm saying
now this could be a potential spoiler.
This is a potential spoiler.
It might not be.
Yeah,
Z's known for being wrong a lot. So
well, okay. So the thing about the Phoenix Force is that I'm just gonna say this, but looking at Chastain's character, she's blonde in this. She's not a redhead. She's a natural redhead. But one of the things for the Phoenix Force is when they die, they go to the white hot room, and what she's wearing is very reminiscent of that. So I imagine that she's playing the secondary psyche to Sophie Turner's. So she's playing the Phoenix Force, whereas Sophie is playing Jean Grey. Right. Yeah, and so whenever she loses it, whenever Jean Grey loses it, the Phoenix Force is Chastain emerging.
The personification of the Phoenix Force.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Which makes sense as to like how you would really kind of be able to tell what the Phoenix Force really is. Yeah. So it just helps, but I don't honestly like at the same time. I'm like, okay, great. Yeah. We're just adding narration.
Got it.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Now, what did you think about? So in the trailer, it shows him being captured by this militaristic group. And on their patches, it's MCU. So they're
Right.
being stolen away from the MCU by the MCU.
Hopefully
So-
that's
Well,
I mean, there's a mutant
containment unit. But I'm wondering, is that something that was brought in from Deadpool though? I know there was a mutant containment unit there, so I wonder if it's just like an earlier version of that, because they have the neck
That
collars.
is pretty meta that the
Yeah.
MCU is
Oh, no.
stealing.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
mutants.
But you know what I mean? Like they're wearing the collars that Deadpool is wearing in Deadpool 2.
Oh, yeah.
Like so, I think that's where it's coming from. But yes, it's hilarious that the MCU is kidnapping all of the X-Men, but the Dark Phoenix is going, nah, bro, I'm killing them first. Which is hilarious because that's what the Marvel comic books did for the X-Men when Fox was refusing to give them back. They killed all the X-Men, including Wolverine, and they really said, "Fuck you, we're not releasing anything else." So it just feels like Simon Kinberg's having fun there.
got you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's head over to our movie review for Greta.
Movie menu.
Okay. The film we're reviewing is Greta, directed by Neil Jordan, written by Ray Wright and Neil Jordan. Here's the plot. A young woman befriends a lonely widow who's harboring a dark and deadly agenda towards her. Starring Isabelle Huppert, Chloe Grace Moretz, and Micah Monroe. All right, guys, we have all seen this film. So depending on our spoiler-free review, and I'm looking at you, Z, spoiler-free review. We show this this movie's worth a dine-in, watch it in theaters, take out, wait and watch it at home, or leftovers.
Get stalked.
Watch
and
The
get-
Room
get-
instead.
Get locked in a box.
No, that's not a bad thing.
Go watch The Room instead.
That's not a bad thing.
I know that's
Get drugged and pass out.
no. You should
get locked in a box.
dip ecstasy overdose on ecstasy for yourself.
Okay.
I don't like either of those.
You're not supposed to.
Get locked in the box, I guess.
There you go. Okay.
All right, guys. Now there's no guests, so there's no points. So don't worry about the point system for this episode. Mike.
Yeah, I'm gonna say. Well, first I have to say, I saw a film before this one,
Sure.
and so it left.
So it lowered the standard for you. Okay, continue.
So there was like a huge contrast with that versus Greta. So
Right.
So for me, the experience Greta was a dine-in for me.
A dine-in.
Wow.
This is hilarious.
Yeah.
See, yeah, we already know what you're reading.
Yes,
but
yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead.
Well, but people don't really follow me on Instagram. But I don't understand what is wrong with you, Mike. This movie was the first leftovers I have ever experienced in this year, and that's saying something. This movie was atrocious. I went to the bathroom and I didn't want to come out of the stall.
Okay.
That's how bad this was.
And you know what's funny? I think it's a takeout.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So it's
say.
3 different ratings.
I think the perspective wouldn't, like, if I wouldn't have seen that movie before, I think I might have. This may have been more of like a takeout, but I don't know if like I
the
gotta
contrast of watching that film. And
Yeah, because.
No, sure.
We'll move on
when
about
you
it,
look
No,
at a
go ahead.
student film and you compare it to like a theatrical release, then you're like, oh, absolutely, that's why that's a student film versus Greta, which is a theatrical.
like I was like, the shots are in sequence. There's editing. I can follow along.
Oh,
like,
but the
like
shot-
there's
oh.
camera movement.
Okay.
I was like, the story's like pretty much consistent.
You mean it's
within
not
itself.
panning over? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Except here's the thing. Okay?
Everything's in focus.
Okay.
I can't complain.
All right, so let's take it from the top and talk about the story of this movie.
Sure,
'Cause
sure.
The story is Greta, this lonely woman, leaves bags in the subway, and then Chloe Moretz's character, I forget her character's name, Frances, she finds it, goes to her, discovers, and this is all in the trailer, discovers that she's been planting bags and is lonely.
Oh, not right away. She develops a friendship, and there's like,
Well, yeah, well, I'm talking about the trailer, but yes, she develops a friendship. You understand the relationship, and then she discovers that the purses have been plants, and then she pushes her away, and Greta reacts by stalking her. That's supposed to be the story, except that's a much cleaner story than what we get. And I think, like, honestly, like, I'm really pissed off with the trailer because the trailer sold me a much more coherent story. This movie could have gone in so many directions and been a much better film. And because it does whatever the hell it does, it just feels like, one, for me, the big thing is this movie was an hour-long movie. That they had to pad a whole bunch of things in there to make it feel like it's an hour and 3 minutes.
But
this movie is not. This movie is not a full length film. This could have been done in less time. I would have watched a short and been happy with watching it. And because it does all these like misdirects, that it does feel sluggish, and it feels like there was somebody who was in the editing room going, put in more clips so we can pad the time. That's what this movie feels like.
Okay. Yeah. I think there was, for me, there was only like one misdirect, but I did like how they like in the trailer. It seems like the craziness happens a lot quicker in the trailer. Based on the trailer,
yes.
and the film itself, it definitely takes more of its time, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed like is kind of like more subtle and more psychological in the build up to it. So like the movie, the trailer seems like it's going to be more of it seems like a majority of it will be like Chloe's
crazy?
Chloe's character being like captured. That's going to be a majority of the film. That's what it seems like, but it's not. It's more about, it's like a stalker film, which I thought was interesting.
It is a stalker film,
which I was interested in. I was interested in just like seeing like this character experiencing that, like making a friend and realizing they've made a friend too soon, and like, this person's crazy, and then just trying to do the best they can to
have some experience. Do you have some experience with that, Mike? I feel like
Mike in fact does have experience with this.
I stick to you like chewing gum, Dan.
Oh, that's what I should have said at the beginning. We stick to you like chewing gum.
Yeah. But go on.
No. Let me speak.
Yeah, it's your turn.
So this film, it's a film where Chloe Grace Moretz makes a lot of stupid decisions. Now there was some fun moments in there, but there's also some questionable moments that I feel like having to watch in a theater. I took my mom to go see this.
Okay, would you say it's a mom movie?
No, everybody in my theater was bored.
My mom, she was like, I don't know.
Okay,
but we were talking throughout with it.
Oh, okay.
So see, that film, that's what I would have enjoyed doing.
So yes. this is a film that I think you should not watch it in theaters.
Okay,
because this is that film like you just want to be like, what are you doing? That person's dead.
This is the kind of movie you drink with somebody else.
Yes, yes. This is a movie that you should not have to pay whatever amount of how much it is to go to the theater watch this film. You should just enjoy it on Netflix on whatever day, and just it's a film that you have fun with, and you can kind of talk shit about as well.
And you will definitely forget about it.
You have fun with it.
But I feel like you'll forget about this movie. Now, when I was watching this movie, and I agree with Dan on that, when I was watching this movie, I was being reminded of The Room. The very awful film in which we have a poster behind me, I think.
The Room.
The Room. Not Room, but The Room. Because there was moments in this movie, and there was even a moment in which Chloe's character leaves the door open, and I was ready to shout, close the door, because that's part of what the Room thing is. And there was some laughably bad dialogue in this movie that I was like, am I watching a comedy? I'm watching a comedy. Let me laugh. And I tested myself by laughing a little bit, and everyone looked at me like, what are you doing, bro? And I was like, I think this movie might be a comedy, but we're not really sure about it because we're watching a suspenseful movie, but I think that it's trying to be comedic.
Which dialogue?
Oh, please. Are you kidding me? The gum? Like, I'm like, gum, I stick to you. And then she takes out the gum and puts it in her hair. Like, that was laughably bad.
She spits it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hair. Yeah, but the point still being, that was laughably badly delivered.
And apparently that took like several shots to do, by the way.
Because the actors knew how terrible it was that they were trying to... The thing
about this film that I felt... You could very tell that and I don't know if this
everybody in this movie is filming it in.
No. That it was like... So this is, an older female and a younger female, and then the younger female's best friend. But this is like
I'm your mama.
This is like definitely like a dude writing this film.
Okay,
for women.
I can see that.
Okay.
I can see that.
Okay.
So like,
I got you. Okay. Yeah.
It's like women wouldn't do that or say that. Oh, you know what's the worst part is that we have.
They don't talk like that.
They don't really talk like that.
Yeah.
So
okay.
So
that's fair.
And
that's
here
fair.
I'll address Micah Moore's character in this movie. Now I have some contention against her because she was in.
Be careful.
It Follows.
It Follows. Yeah.
But I'm going to forgive that, and I'm going to say that she might be a really good actress.
You'll forgive that, really?
No. I'm just saying she might actually be a very good actress, but she's just getting some bad roles. But Erica's character, she plays Erica. She tells you who she is. Like you see her because when you see her, she's living in this loft, but she has to address that. Oh, you think I'm just blah 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 this? Like I'm a rich girl who's spoiled and only cares about material things, and we're like, You didn't have to say that. We could see it. That's part of visual storytelling, is that you see some character and you don't have them explain to you what they are doing and why they are doing. That's not to even mention the fact that her character is entirely, I don't understand how, but without spoiling anything, I'm trying not to spoil anything. Her character makes absolutely no sense at the ending.
It's the weakest part of the
film.
The
weakest part? No, that is not the weakest part. It is only one of the many weaknesses.
There's a moment that I'm laughing right now because I'm reminded of the moment that where she's being stalked, and I just it's just silly and funny because
it's so dumb.
It's like she just turns around and they're taking pictures of her. Just go somewhere, or just go back, or do something.
Go hang out with friends.
Oh my God, they're taking pictures. It's just
she's chasing after me. Oh no! Like
I was during that time, I was like, this movie has some good continuity.
That's all you were thinking. Continuity was a thing.
I was like, the camera's moving. I can hear what everybody's saying.
I think
this is pretty good.
No. I think your standard of low has just been completely skewed.
I'm sorry. But I learned my lesson.
Hopefully you did, because this movie is so bad.
No, Mike, if you enjoyed it, then
I mean,
embrace it.
No, okay. Let me address the continuity. Okay, I'll agree with you on that. The continuity is definitely set in stone because, and I remember I was first watching the movie and I was like, that's a lot of establishing shots. There's so many establishing shots. There's so many moments in which they follow people who are completely useless. I mean, I didn't need to know what the cop's life was like, but you got an idea of what the cop's life was like. You got to see also that weird waitress behind Chloe's.
Oh, I know.
I was watching her the entire damn time. I was like, I would rather know her story than Chloe's story because clearly that person is logical.
Yeah, because I was thinking, like, if I was that person, I'd be like, are they a couple that are breaking up?
Are they breaking up? Are they breaking up? And you can see everybody around the room kind of looking at going like, oh, shit's going down. But see, I would have rather enjoyed watching those people's lives than this movie. Because clearly they have logical sense as to stay out of the situation.
I feel like I would have liked, I guess, more subtle creepiness. Yeah. Because there's a moment where she just goes batshit crazy in front of people.
I'm sorry, who are you talking about? Chloe's character?
Greta.
Yes.
Which I would have enjoyed if it would have been like, she's a sweet old lady. Like, who's going to believe that she's creepy, right?
Yeah. Right.
Like, that whole stereotypical thing that could have been played up with.
Well,
that could have created more suspense, more horror, more twists.
So it could have been more like as subtle as like The Gift. The Gift?
The Gift.
With
are you talking about the one with the guy who? No, which is The Gift?
The
or
Gift
are you
with,
talking about the Katie Holmes and Clay Blanchett?
I think it could have been more like The Visitor. The Visitor was one of those.
The Visit?
Not The Visit. The film with the lead actor that was in Warrior. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name at the moment.
Okay.
But where I think that was his directorial.
You're right. It is
Creeps?
called The Gift. No, it's called The Gift.
No, it's not.
It's called The Gift.
Oh,
it's one with the kid. Yeah,
Joel Edgerton. Thank you. Yeah, Joel Edgerton. So
that movie was I agree with that.
And I had mixed feelings when I saw that, but I think that film definitely, which is
I
also
don't really like that film either. So.
Yeah, which is like a horror film, but I think to its credit, it does have more subtle, creepy moments within it.
Yes, I agree. And I think what I would enjoyed in this movie was if Chloe Zarate's character was in fact the villain of the story. Like, I feel like she would have, because
like I would have liked it if Erica, Michael Monroe character, was the villain of it. Like, she's losing her friend, but maybe she's saving up Greta. I don't know, something.
Oh, that would have been great. But what I'm saying is, like, there's a moment in which Chloe Moretz character does something completely irrational. She goes to her house, stalking her, and looking for whether or not the dog is okay or not.
Which is really a story that's not focused on.
No. They never even really elaborate on that. No. Like, they don't. There's so much they don't elaborate on.
I mean, it's thrown in there. Like, there are a few throwaway lines where she talks about how like some. I think it was her father.
Throwaway lines. Like,
this movie is a throwaway. Dude. But this movie sucked.
But with that, like,
there was some fun moments. I wouldn't say it's sucked.
That scene could have been cut out and nothing would have changed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So But I'm not saying there's a plot hole. Like they do account for that in the script.
As you said, there's enough continuity in this movie.
Yeah, it
that
could
you know
been,
what is happening.
Yeah.
But none of it makes sense.
No. It does make sense.
Does
it? But it does make sense. But the film didn't need it.
Yes.
So it could have been edited.
Well,
out.
and that's what I mean.
So it's
There's
just extra fat in it.
That's what I mean. Is that there could have been a lot of things cut. This would have been an hour-long short, and I would have been happy with it.
Okay.
But because he extended it out, and what's really unusual for me is
realistically, there's not going to be an hour. It needs to be at least an hour, 30 minutes.
But what I find really curious is that this movie is directed by Neil Jordan. Like Neil Jordan has directed some really like outstandingly good movies. I'm trying to look real quickly here, but I remember he did one with I forget. But he's actually done a lot of like some okay movies. He did Breakfast on Pluto, The Good Thief. I mean, he's not done terrible. He did Interview with a Vampire. Okay, he's done good movies, but this movie felt like it was directed by a student director.
I would disagree.
I think Mike knows exactly.
I would disagree.
Who really wanted to get continuity done right? Let me finish.
Sure. Okay.
But you know what I mean? Like it just felt like it was such an amateurish movie because there were so many like pickup shots. There were so many shots that were done of extras that were entirely unnecessary.
Okay.
Oh man, and the worst, most laughable moment was when Chloe's in the dining and she's serving people. She looks out the window and all of a sudden the camera flashes on Greta across the street, zooming in on her. I don't even understand what the hell he was thinking. This movie sucked. This movie, I mean, I understand. Yeah. To Dan's point, this movie is laughably bad. But that's not the movie that I signed up to watch, and I think that's kind of what made me more irritated. Because when I signed up to go watch The Room, I knew what I was getting myself into. This movie was bad, without any clear notion that it was going to be this terrible.
Okay,
I don't think it was that bad. I think it had some pretty cool moments. It does have
name some.
It does have some laughable.
Name some good moments.
I liked it when she the whole cookie finger thing. I thought that was cool.
I agree.
The whole sequence was pretty
that.
cool.
That's actually the one moment in which my crowd made a noise.
Yeah. Did they go?
They kind of did that.
There were a few fun moments for me, and I think like without spoiling it, like some of the.
I mean, even though I laugh, I mean the whole Micah Monroe and the photo stalking thing.
I was gonna say, come on,
that's funny. It was a funny moment to watch that.
But also, all right, and I think we're getting to the end of the review, but not to spoil the movie.
Sure.
But that ending made absolutely no sense.
No, it made sense.
It just doesn't mean it was good.
No, it made sense, but it was very obvious.
Micah Monroe's character made absolutely no sense as to what was going on there. They never once set it up. They never once followed through with at least a partial of a storyline that made sense for that. It made sense. It sounded, as you said, Dan, like a guy wrote the story. And that's what you get.
No, it was them trying to be clever, and them trying to be clever. It was very obvious.
Yeah.
So I mean,
just
we pegged it right away.
Just how it was shot, like leading up to it, I think it was very clear, like who that character was.
Oh, totally. No, but that's not what I mean. I just mean as a character arc, it made no sense. They never once set that character up to be that, and when they followed through with it, you're like,
Well, I mean,
they never really established. Like, okay,
to be fair, like.
They did. I mean,
she's
like they did.
Really. They established that she was capable of doing that.
She's her friend.
Yeah, she's her friend.
But they never once said no. But because they got into an argument and they really kind of were on the outs, they never once made it seem like that relationship was that concrete.
I think they did. I think it was like they show it.
This is going to be one of those movies, Mike, where I'm going to play for you later in your life and be like, you tell me that you were wrong because you are so wrong.
Okay, I'm on Mike's side. Sorry.
So you tell me, Z, which part where they argue and it's not resolved? Because they do. There is like arguments, but they do get resolved, like in the film,
very mildly.
Yeah,
she literally says, "You should go away."
No, because of what's going on. Because she's getting stalked. I think she's.
But
like,
none of it made it felt like. I never once felt like those characters really.
All the arguments that happened with her. Once you know that something happened to your friend, like whatever's in the past is done. Now you focus on trying to find that person.
But not to do.
No. I think
not to do that. That's the extreme.
The thing is, she's the only one that knows.
That's not true. That is not true.
So there are two. Yeah. So going deeper into this, we would be spoiling it.
Yes, exactly. That's
which
why we need to.
Honestly, I don't know if it like matters, but
no, we should not spoil it. But
yeah. But I think it does make it clear in the film, like that their friendship is strong.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that they show that, and that's consistent in the film. Like even if they're like bickering or whatever, like it always gets resolved. And even when Micah's character Erica, when she wants her friend Francis to leave, like it's not because she's sick of her. Like she says, like come with me, or oh yeah, go with your family, you know. But she wants her to get a break from the craziness that's been going on.
Yeah,
that's the reason why. It's not that she doesn't want her around.
Did they ever establish that she is that capable of doing things?
I mean,
you don't need to establish someone.
They never do. They never do.
But does it? I don't know if it matters.
But I don't understand like what needs to be established for her to do that.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah.
She's not a superhero.
Yeah.
They try playing it off like she's capable of doing that kind of thing. Like that's.
I don't know.
That's an extreme.
I mean, like, they do establish that she's like experienced with like as far as like how to deal with people. So like I think I
like
think
that.
That's like
I know for the audience, I know we're talking around in circles, so I definitely don't want to belittle the point, but for me that was the issue is
like,
that I just felt like it was not established.
Because
it was unearned.
She like they established that she herself has had like stalkers in New York,
sure.
And she has had to deal with has her own methods and how to deal with people,
ghosting people.
Yeah, or ghosting people. Yeah. So they established that, and she's the one that's like advising her friend who's a little bit more naive, her friend Francis, and she's like trying to coach her and how to deal with this crazy situation.
But I think ultimately my biggest issue is that it does kind of build like it definitely tries to play some mental illness into this movie, and it does it in a way that for me was again in like much other films we've talked about is very disrespectful to it.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that was another issue of mine. Whereas like you could have easily made this movie into a really and Chloe Moretz has history with making films that are about mental illness. She I think did Brain on Fire. So like she definitely is aware of that. And sure enough, though, the way that they show Greta as being a stalker is legit. Like that's legit as to like the how you get to that point. But it just had to go one step further, and because it did, that's where I was like, no.
So which mental illness did they disrespect in particular? Because I don't think they're ever really specific.
They're not. But they definitely like jump on like depression as a reason for her psychosis or whatever she's going through. Because like they really kind of like she's lost a lot of family. She's lonely. Her daughter committed suicide. Is that a spoiler?
That is a spoiler.
Damn
Yes.
It. Oh shit! I'm so sorry.
Good job. All
right. Well, no one's gonna watch this movie anyways. Damn it! I apologize. That was my bad. But you know what I mean. Like all this stuff kind of jumts into those categories, and then they hospitalize her. I think that's the part where I really was a little
5150.
Yeah.
Which is like I get.
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing I had an issue with, and I feel like this is lazy writing.
Is it? I feel like that was already kind of like a given too.
Well, no, it's the fact that we have these technology cell phones that can block numbers, and we have stuff that can block stuff.
That's
and I would have liked it if they would have included that that everyday thing that we do normally.
So it's like
ghost people,
a little bit more savvy,
right?
Technology,
and
good
like
point.
Greta finding a way around that would have been interesting to watch.
That would have been,
because
smarter writing.
She's set up as having like an old school Nokia phone.
Oh yeah. They're like
so if she was able to like make her think that she's not technologically savvy, but it turns out Greta is like super technology savvy.
Which she kind of is.
But
yeah, you're right.
But like
you're right. I agree with you.
Going around the block number and stuff, just like more cleverness, more stuff like that. I think this one would have been more.
You're right. This movie could have been way smarter.
Yeah,
which it wasn't.
But it's kind of a silly film that it's a throwaway. Talk about.
Yeah.
So, if you don't know, it's a three-way tie.
I'll leave it up to you, Dan.
I'll let the fans. I want to hear from somebody who else will watch this movie.
You got to decide, Dan.
Well, screw it. I go take out that.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
It is in between.
It's fair. Okay. Yeah, all right.
I mean, not that it means anything, but yeah. So we'll go ahead and rate it take out.
Yeah, okay.
Wait and watch it at home. On Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, any of those streaming services. Don't rush out to watch
don't
this.
Pay for it. I think that's the other part. Is like make sure it's a streaming source, not one you rent.
Yeah. On that note, thank you so much, Z, for watching this film and hating it.
Terrible movie.
I like how much you hated it.
I really wanted to walk out of this film. I actually went to the bathroom and did not want to come back.
Which is how you start every show. Going to the bathroom and not wanting to come out.
I mean, that's fair.
On that note, thank you guys for watching us on Facebook or listening to us on iTunes, Stitcher, or SoundCloud, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Make sure to visit our website at moviemenupodcast.com. Follow our social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube channel. You can find all that on our websites. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Z.
Thank you, Dan.
Until next time, I'm Dan the Man Muñoz, and we say goodbye.
See you later.
2, 3, 4. Yes,